What's up, Airsofters and ASG Bob? Right in front of me is one of the world's most favorite competition pistols, brought to you in Airsoft form. That's right, this is the ASG CZ Shadow 2 CO2 powered Airsoft pistol. The magnificent design of this sidearm in both its aesthetics and functionality are the reason for its successful climb to fame. Let's get into a little backstory of CZ and the also exciting CZ Shadow 2. Czeska Sabrowka, AS Uherskibrod, I butchered that, but I'm sorry, also known as CZUB for short, is an engineering company that was founded in 1919 in the town of Uherskibrod in the Czech Republic. CZ, as you're familiar with today, not only produces firearms for the military, hunters, and competition shooters and civilians, but also manufactured engine parts for both the automobile and aerospace industries. Over the decades following World War II, CZ has garnered a very prestigious reputation within the firearms industry all around the world. This famous name was solidified even further with the creation of its subsidiary company, the CZ USA brand, in 1997. The USA branch was originally founded in California in '97, but later moved to their headquarters in '98 and is now at home in Kansas City, Missouri, because California sucks. Today, CZ stands as one of the world's largest firearms exporters, with more than 90 countries, as well as one of the world's top 10 small arms manufacturers. The precursor of the CZ Shadow 2 is the CZ75, or more specifically the CZ75 SPO1, one of my favorite pistols. In fact, the CZ SPO1 Shadow, which is the competition version of the SPO1, featured better grips, a slightly modified trigger, and really more performance garnered to competition shooting. As the name suggests, the very first version of this pistol was manufactured in 1975, the CZ75, and because of its enhanced ergonomics and unique double-action trigger, the pistol quickly gained more popularity. The SPO1 was originally designed as the ideal law enforcement and military sidearm. It's chambered in 9mm, but eventually found its way onto the field of sport and target shooting. Fast forward decades later, and after countless feedback from world-renowned CZ competition shooters, the CZ75 SPO1 Shadow was born. Now, the SPO1 was designed with an incredibly low bore axis, meaning that the barrel is as low to the trigger group and ultimately your grip as possible. Now, that lower bore axis gives the shooter incredible accuracy and recoil control, and it featured an extended beaver tail to protect the shooter's hand during recoil. Now, an integral part of the frame, I guess, is the 1913 accessory rail made for flashlights and things like that. And of course, the SPO1 came with rubberized grip panels. Fast forward even more to 2016 and the Shadow 2 was born. This time it sported a longer barrel, a lighter weight slide, aggressive slide serrations, which is really one of the failure points of the SPO1 in my personal opinion, and improved ergonomics and better sights. The Shadow 2 continues to be utilized by some of the top competition shooters out there, as well as firearm enthusiasts. Right here in front of me is that very same popular shooting competition pistol, but in airsoft form. The fully licensed CZ USA CZ Shadow 2 airsoft pistol by ASG features a very sturdy all-metal construction, including the frame and the slide. This not only gives the pistol some heft, but also makes the pistol feel a lot more realistic when compared to the real thing. In terms of overall design, you can expect the ASG CZ Shadow 2 to have all of the same features as the CZ Shadow 2, like the extended beaver tail, the enhanced contoured grip with a really nice grip panel, and of course an accessory rail, as well as really nice aggressive slide serrations. Not to mention they've also included a threaded barrel, so you can attach all of your tracer units and mock suppressors. It does come with a protector too, by the way, so no worries about violating any orange tip laws if you live here in good old United States of America. The checkering at the front and back of the pistol grip are more sharp compared to previous generations, and when combined with the CNC machined zinc shells or grip panels, which are thinner in profile, the Shadow 2 features a new grip angle with a higher cut that's deeper into the beaver tail, giving you a really, really nice grip, and combined with the new undercut behind the trigger guard, it gives you a really positive, aggressive grip that allows you to maintain that grip through recoil. In Airsoft, not a huge deal, but it feels just like the real thing. And that level of control, you know, is important in Airsoft, even when you're not necessarily dealing with recoil itself. One other note about the trigger guard itself, they've actually extended it forward to make it easier to use with gloves on. There is an enlarged mag catch that has 3 adjustable positions. You can simply back the screw out with a hex key and adjust it to your liking. Now the mag catch has an extended profile to give the shooter a positive feel when pressing the mag catch, and the pistol's safety selector is ambidextrous, so it can be engaged with right or left-handed shooters. It features a stainless steel recoil spring guide as opposed to the SP01's plastic one, and that makes it more durable, as well as a fiber optic front sight and an adjustable rear sight. One other note I'd like to make about the magazine catch is that setting it down or lightly pressing it doesn't release the magazine, a common problem with extended mag releases on full-size pistols like this. Let's talk about some other cool features of the CZ Shadow 2. Now, although it does come shipped with the CO2 magazine, it is compatible with green gas mags as well as SP01 and CZ75 magazines. If you're wondering if they're also backwards compatible, I've got one of my various SP01s here to show you that the Shadow 2 magazine also fits the SP01. One other thing I'd like to mention is that I really like the +2 or like 2 extra rounds in the magazine. Even though it is compatible, it's the same length. I like that styling cue that came with the Shadow 2. I find that both the SP01 and the Shadow 2 function best with their CO2 magazines, and you can always pick up extras as they are sold separately. All of the magazines hold 26 rounds. Now then, let's check out the internals of these bad boys to find out what makes them tick. Like most gas pistols, adjusting the hop-up on the CZ Shadow 2 requires that you take the slide off. The hop-up can be finely adjusted by turning this screw here. The inner barrel and the bucking are TM spec, so lots of aftermarket parts are available. The Shadow 2 takes down very similar to a 1911. Here's a look at the trigger group and the hammer assembly. To remove the slide from the frame, you'll want to line up the 2 notches at the back of the slide. Then, the slide stop can be removed from the lower. You'll notice that unlike a lot of popular pistol frames, the rails on the slide are fully locked into the full-length rails on the frame. This makes the pistol very stable and therefore very accurate, as you'll see at the range. Having run pistols that are on the CZ platform, like the SP01 and the Shadow 2 for quite a while now, I can tell you that the breakdown for making upgrades and customizations can be a little bit different from other pistols of a similar size and function. Upgrades to the trigger assembly, as well as replacing or maintaining something like the hammer or changing out the safeties, can be difficult if you haven't worked on one of these platforms before. Just remember to take your time, pay attention to the placement of the springs, how they're locked into place, and it should go fine. We're outside in our outdoor testing facility, testing out the CZ Shadow 2 from ASG. Now, first things first, let's talk a little bit about weight. This is on the heftier side for a pistol, and that's because it's full metal. So if you're looking for the ultra lightweight, speedy speed boy for your indoor speed QB matches, this might not be the choice for you, especially because it's CO2 powered right out of the box. But ergonomically, I gotta say, it is one of the most comfortable pistols I've ever fired, and that's including the M9 and the USP and the standard 1911 and even, let's be honest, the high Kappa. It is really that comfortable to shoot, and if I've got to worry about wearing a glove while shooting it, the enlarged trigger guard makes that easy. In fact, now what you might have noticed is that I didn't rack the slide to begin fire, and that's because the single action, dual action trigger allows you to fire when there's one in the chamber. So with the hammer down, I can insert a magazine and fire. Now it's in single action mode, and then the trigger press is quite a bit lighter. Speaking of triggers, this trigger is adjustable right out of the box. It comes with a set screw that allows you to adjust the over travel of the trigger, which I think is really, really nice. And because it's based on the same architecture as the SP01, it will take a single action only conversion available from ASG. Put a couple more rounds down. Something I really like about CZs is how quickly you can get follow-up shots off, and that's without a sliding trigger like a 1911 or even a Glock style trigger. I really love the trigger on these, and reloads are made even more easy by that pronounced or enhanced mag release. Giving you multiple positions to adjust, that makes mag releases even more easy. And I love that it has some spring tension, so you don't accidentally drop your mag when drawing it from a holster. And speaking about holsters, there really aren't a whole lot available on the market. That's probably because this isn't really a tactical pistol. But with the threaded barrel and the ability to mount a light like a TLR or a Surefire, why shouldn't it be? I mean, it looks awesome. I'd take this out to an op. The only thing left to really touch on is both the slide serrations, which are really pronounced, by the way, and make doing press checks, if you're using these for training, very easy, and make getting a grip on the slide so that you can rack it in the heat of the moment really, really easy. On top of the slide, we've of course got our sights, which I'll be honest, are quite a bit better than the SP01. Let me demonstrate. It's really easy to get a sight picture with these, and the adjustable rear makes fine-tuning that adjustment even easier. Once you got your hop-up set, your sights dialed, this thing is an absolute tack driver. And I can see why it was voted best pistol of 2019. 2019?
Yeah, 2019.
2019.
Yeah, 2019.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah,
Your rear is adjustable.
That's disturbing. Of course, we've got to do our accuracy test. We've got a body-sized target down there. That's one of our EMG cardboard targets set about 25 feet away. Pretty standard distance for where you'll be engaging targets. Of course, you can push it out farther than that, but then we start getting into AEG range. I've got 0.25 gram BBs loaded in here. We haven't cleaned the barrel. All I've done is set the hop up for 0.25s. As you can see, 25 feet, center of the A zone on our target, no problem at all for the Shadow 2. Anytime you're dealing with an airsoft pistol, recoil is not going to be your enemy. Obviously, these don't recoil nearly as hard as a real firearm. So the only things you really have to worry about are wind. When you're shooting outdoors with .25s, you're gonna get a little bit more wind deflection than you would with a heavier weight BB, but that's really nice accuracy right out of the box, especially with a barrel that hasn't been cleaned yet. Out to 50 feet, you'll probably see the spread grow a little bit larger, but that's still definitely within a body-sized target at that distance. I'm really pleased with the accuracy right out of the box. We're gonna go ahead and do our chrono test. 0.20 gram BBs in the magazine with a fresh CO2, so we know how it's performing when you freshly load a CO2 mag. Let's see how it does. After the first couple shots, of course, because the CO2 is fresh, you will get a lot of fluctuation. But as you fire off a couple rounds, you will notice that your FPS becomes more consistent, which on the Shadow 2 is just around 330 to 335 FPS. Pretty decent right out of the box. If you follow Popular Airsoft's yearly Airsoft Players' Choice Awards, you might know that the Shadow 2 was voted the best airsoft pistol of 2019. That's pretty important because for the longest time, the High Kappas held that title pretty well. With its really nice weight, its snappy firing, its comfortability, build construction, it really is a great pistol. And if you're looking to add a new sidearm to your airsoft arsenal, this is definitely something to check out. As more of these become widely used in airsoft, I think we'll see more holster options available since there aren't that many on the market right now, aside from custom options. But with the various ways to upgrade, tune, change, and personalize the Shadow 2, I think it's definitely something worth adding to your airsoft arsenal. Check it out right here at Evike.com and follow along with our social media like Facebook and Instagram for the newest photos, content, and product updates and highlights that we feature there, as well as subscribing to our YouTube channel and clicking the bell icon to be notified of our latest video releases. As always, make sure you're playing hard, playing safe, and playing responsibly. See you guys later.